Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Cambridge Chemistry channel with Sarwat Ahmed. Today I will be solving chemistry paper 1 multiple choice 1 2 from October November 2020. Let's start. During the titration experiment, an acid is transferred into a burette. The diagram shows part of the burette at the start of the titration and at the end of the end point. What is the volume of acid used during the titration? So this is final reading. End point is 27.3, while initial point is 1 2 3 4 22.4. so this is equal to 4.9 centimeter cube. So B option is correct. Question number 2. When calcium carbonate is added to dilute hydrochloric acid, carbon dioxide gas is released. 3 sets of operators are shown. Calcium carbonate, cotton wool, mass balance, funnel, Bayering cylinder, thistle funnel, calcium carbonate, solid balance. Which sets of operators are suitable together with a stopwatch for following the rate of this reaction? So this can be used to measure the mass of the mass during the chemical reaction, and this is used to measure the volume of gas. This can be used to measure the volume of the gas. So experiment operators 1 and 2 are suitable to collect the option is B. Question number 3. Chromatography can be used to separate and identify dyes present in a mixture. Which statement is correct? A dye with an RF value of 1.2 can be present in a mixture. RF value is always less than 1. Is always less than 1. So this statement is incorrect. A dye could have a different RF value if a different solvent was used. Yes, it must be correct, because in different solvents the solubility rate of dyes could be different. So AB must be correct. All blue dyes have the same RF value. This is also not correct. Chromatography can only be used for colored substances such as dyes. So this is not correct, because it is used for colored and colorless. Question number 4. Petroleum crude oil is separated into useful fractions by fractional distillation. The position at which fractions X and Y are collected from the fractionating column are shown. Which statement is correct? The temperature increases up the column. The temperature increases up the column. X condenses at lower temperature. It is not correct, because temperature increases up the column is not correct. The fraction with lowest boiling point will be collected first, while the fractions with higher boiling point later. So X condenses at a lower temperature. X is present over here. X condenses at lower temperature than Y. Yes, this must be correct. X has a higher boiling point than Y. This is not correct. Y has higher boiling point than X because X is above than Y. X has longer chain molecule than Y. No, X has smaller molecule than Y. Longer chain. Shorter chain than Y. Aqueous zinc chloride is tested with various reagents. Which observation is aqueous zinc chloride? With various reagents, which observation is correct? Aqueous ammonia gives a white precipitate which is soluble in excess reagent. This is correct for zinc to ions. Copper turning gave a precipitate of zinc. No, copper is less reactive than zinc, so cannot displace zinc from its solution. Acidified aqueous silver nitrate gives a yellow, not yellow precipitate, give white precipitate for chloride ion because chloride is present over here. So this is also incorrect. Acidified aqueous barium nitrate gives a white precipitate. So acidified aqueous barium nitrate cannot gives white precipitate with zinc chloride. So this is also incorrect. A option must be correct. When aqueous sodium hydroxide is added to a solution, a white precipitate forms which dissolves when excess sodium hydroxide is added. Aqueous white precipitate forms which dissolves when excess sodium hydroxide is added. Which ion could be present in the solution? So copper form blue precipitate with excess sodium dissolves. It is not true. This is group 1. So it must be dissolves. Calcium 2 precipitates remain insoluble with excess. So it is not correct. Aluminium must be correct because aluminium forms white precipitate which dissolves when excess sodium hydroxide is added. Question number 7. A sample of gas occupies a volume of 22 dm cube at room temperature and pressure. Which changes in the condition would both decrease the volume occupied by the gas? Decrease the volume, increasing the pressure and decrease the temperature. Decrease the temperature, this is correct, or increase the pressure, which would both decrease the volume occupied by the gas. So C must be correct. As increasing pressure and decreasing temperature will reduce the volume occupied by the gas at RTP. An ion, so C must be correct. An ion contains 20 electrons and has a charge of +3. 20 electrons and has a charge of +3. Aluminium is 13. So this is not correct. 13 electrons and after losing it has 10 electrons. Calcium has 20 electrons after losing 2 electrons, carrying 2 positive and 10 electrons, 18 electrons. So it is not correct, it is not correct. Iron 28. And after losing 2 plus or 3 plus, so this can be is also incorrect. So vanadium is correct because V carrying plus 3 charge and iron contains 20 electrons. Look at the periodic table. Vanadium has 23 electrons. Vanadium has total electrons 23 electrons. After losing 3 electrons has 20 electrons. So ions has 20 electrons. So vanadium is correct option. Which statement is correct? Diamond conducts electricity while graphite does not. This is incorrect. Graphite does but diamond does not. So this is incorrect. Graphite has delocalized ions between its electrons. Delocalized electrons. So it is also incorrect. In diamond, each carbon atom is joined to 3 other carbon. In diamond, each atom is joined to 4 other carbon atoms. 4 other carbon atoms only. So this is incorrect. The layered structure of graphite makes it slippery. This is correct option. Which material has the highest melting point? Ammonia is a gas, so low melting point. Methane also is a gas, low. Sodium chloride is ionic compound. Has the highest melting point. So C must be correct. Water also low melting point because water is a covalent molecule and covalent compound has low melting point and boiling point. So this is also incorrect. Question number 11. Which statement describes ionic bond? A lattice of ionic bond. A lattice of ions in a sea of electron. This is explained. Ions in a sea of electron. This is for metals. Description for metals. This for metal it is correct. Electrostatic attraction between opposites. This is correct option. As ionic bond is formed, ionic bond has strong electrostatic force of attraction between oppositely charged ions because positive. So for example, sodium chloride, in sodium chloride, sodium carrying positive, chloride carrying negative charge. Sharing of electrons between atoms to gain a noble gas configuration. This is incorrect for ionic bond. Sharing of electrons in covalent bond between atoms, between non-metals. So this is also incorrect. The transfer of electrons from atoms of a non-metal to atoms are metals to non-metal. So this is also incorrect. Question number 12. Which substances contain at least one double bond? C2H4 has one double bond. O2 has one double bond. C2H6 has no double bond. Carbon dioxide has two double bond, at least one double bond. So C2H4 has double bond, oxygen has double bond, C2H4 has one double bond, and C2H6 has no double bond. Carbon dioxide has two double bond. So 1, 2 and 4 are correct. Option is C. Magnesium will react with aqueous copper 2 sulfate to form copper and aqueous magnesium sulfate. What is the correct equation for the reaction? Magnesium will react, this is the chemical reaction, CuSO4 to form magnesium sulfate plus Cu. This is the correct chemical equation for this reaction. Magnesium correct, copper sulfate correct, copper correct, and magnesium sulfate correct. This option is correct. So this is wrong, this is wrong, copper sulfate copper, this is wrong, and Cu2SO4 is not correct formula, Mg2SO4 is not correct. A must be correct. Sample of magnesium hydroxide has a mass of 4.63 grams. How many moles of magnesium hydroxide are present? This is 4 point magnesium hydroxide. MR of magnesium hydroxide is magnesium 24 plus 32 plus 2. So this is equal to 24 plus 32 plus 2 is equal to 58. So mass is 4.63. 63 divided by 58. 4.63 divided by 50 divided by 58. 0.0798. It is mole is 0.0798. The B is correct option. Question number 15. Which statement is correct? The concentration of solution is expressed in 9 decimeter cube per mole. Concentration of solution is expressed, no, concentration of solution is expressed in mole per dm cube. This is incorrect. The empirical formula of compound always gives the actual number of not actual number, simple ratio of each type of atom. So this is also incorrect. The molecular formula of compound always contain more atoms than the empirical formula. The molecular formula not always, because in some compounds molecular formula and empirical formula are same. So this is not always correct. The relative atomic mass of an element is the average mass of one atom of an element is average mass of one atom of the element. The ratio between average mass of one element of the element with 1/12 of mass of one atom of C12. So D must be correct. Question number 16. Which sample contains the most atoms? Most atoms. Water has 3 atoms and atoms. 3 atoms. Carbon dioxide has CO2 also 3 atoms. Methane has CH4 5 atoms, and hydrogen chloride has 2 atoms. So we have number of moles. So which sample contains the most atoms? Mole into number of atom into 6.02 into 10 raised per 23. Mole is 0.5, this is A option, into number of atom 3 into 6.02 into 10 raised per 23. So this is equal to, let's calculate, 0.5 into 3 into 6.02 into so after calculating each amount, for example, this is A, this is B, 1 mole into 3 into 6.02 into 10 raised by 23. C option is 1 into 4 into 6.02 into 10 raised by 23, and D option is 2 into 2 into 6.02 into 10 raised by 23. So 0.5 into 3 into 6.02 into 23. Into 3 into 6 into this is 9 into 10 raised by 23. Now 1 into 3 into 6.02 into yes, C option is correct after calculating this. So C must be correct option. The equation shows the production of iron by the reaction of iron 3 oxide. Fe2O3 plus 3CO. 80 tons of iron 3 oxide produces 50 tons of iron. 80 tons. So we have 80 tons of iron 3 oxide produces 50 tons of iron. What is the percentage yield? This is experimental yield. So calculate the moles of iron 3 oxide Fe2O3 is equal to 80 divided by Fe2O3. Mr is 56 into 2 plus 16 into 3. So this is equal to 56 into 3 plus 48 is equal to 216. Plus 48. 160. So 80 divided by 160 is equal to 0.5. So mole ratio 1:2. This is Fe2O3 ratio iron. So 0.5:2 x. The mole of iron is 0.5 into 2 is equal to 1. Is equal to 1. Mass of iron is equal to 1 into 56 is equal to 56 gram. So percentage yield is equal to experimental yield over theoretical yield into 100. So this is experimental yield is 50 tons divided by 56 into 100. So this is equal to 50 divided by 56 is equal to into 100 is equal to 89. So D option is correct. Question number 18. And aqueous copper 2 sulfate is electrolyzed using copper electrode. The current is constant and the anode is weighed at regular interval times. Copper 2 sulfate using copper electrodes. Which graph is obtained when the mass of the anode is plotted against time? So mass of anode is decreased plotted against time. So it must be not, this is not correct because mass of anode is not decreased like this, and this is increased, so it is also incorrect. So C must be correct because this graph is correct according to the mass of anode. Question number 19. The diagram shows the electrolysis of mixture of aqueous copper 2 nitrate and aqueous silver nitrate. Electrodes X and Y are inert. X and Y are inert, silver nitrate and copper nitrate. Copper is above silver in the reactivity series. It can be deduced that silver is initially deposited because silver is below than copper in reactivity series. So silver is initially deposited at the electrode Y, because Y is cathode and Ag is positive ion. So it is silver ion, or at the cathode electrode Y. Which words complete? Silver and Y. So D must be correct. Question number 20. The energy profile diagram of the chemical reaction is shown. What is the value of the activation energy of the reaction? Activation, this is exothermic reaction. Exothermic energy profile diagram. So diagram energy delta H must be positive, and this is 150 to 40. Initially it is 150 and products has 50. So 50 minus 150, that is minus 100 kilojoule. So sorry, reactant minus product. Over here 150 and it is overall diagram, energy profile diagram. 150 reactant minus product, this is delta H, and minus 50 is equal to, what is the value of activation, activation energy is what is the value of activation energy of the reaction. Activation energy is positive because this is not for energy profile delta H. This is question is asking about activation energy, activation energy of the reaction. This is activation energy of this reaction, and activation energy is over here is 250, and starting from 150 this will be 100 plus 100. So C must be correct option. Asking about activation energy. This is very important to read out the whole question first. Which statement describes the conversion of magnesium atom to magnesium ion? Magnesium is a metal, lose, and group 2 metal, lose 2 electrons to form magnesium 2 positive. The charge is reduction, so this is oxidation because magnesium losing 2 electrons. So losing of electron is oxidation. So reduction is not correct. The charge is oxidation because there has been a loss of electron. This is correct. Question number 22. When water is liquid, it ionizes slightly. The forward reaction is endothermic. When the temperature of water is increased, which changes take place? Forward reaction is endothermic. This is endo. Increasing temperature. When temperature of water is increased, which change take place? Okay, the water become acidic. No, water not become acidic because hydrogen ions and OH ions are same. The water becomes alkaline. No, water is not alkaline because again H positive and OH negative ions are same. More water molecules form ions. Yes, this is correct. More ionization occur. So D must be correct. Which salts could be prepared by precipitation? Barium sulfate. Precipitation as insoluble salt is used to insoluble salt is prepared by precipitation. Lead chloride PbCl2 also insoluble. Precipitation. Also precipitation. Copper 2 chloride soluble salt. Filtration crystallization. Zinc sulfate is also soluble salt. So 1 and 2 are correct. So if 1 or 2 are correct, the option is A. Question number 24. Silver is below hydrogen in the reactivity series. Which law describes the chemicals used and the method of separate reactivity. Silver is below. Chemicals used and method of separation used to prepare a pure sample of silver chloride. Silver and hydrochloric acid chemicals used. No, this is not, because silver does not react with dilute HCl, because it is lower than hydrogen ion in reactivity series. Silver and hydrochloric acid, not correct. Filtration is not. Silver nitrate and hydrochloric acid, not. Crystallization is not used, this is correct. Silver nitrate and hydrochloric acid filtration is correct, so D option is correct. Ammonia is manufactured by Haber process. The forward reaction is exothermic. Which statement about the Haber process is correct? A low pressure is used to shift the position of high pressure, so this is incorrect. High pressure is used to shift the position of equilibrium to the high temperature, shift to the right, no shift to the left. So this is also incorrect, because forward reaction is exothermic. So increasing temperature will shift the reaction backward. And iron catalyst is used to shift the position. Catalyst only prevails the equilibrium position. It does not change the position of equilibrium. So this is incorrect. The nitrogen used is obtained from the ion. This must be correct. The table contains some facts about the sulfur dioxide and sulfuric acid and comments on these facts. Which row is correct? The manufacture of sulfuric acid, sulfur reacts with oxygen to make sulfur dioxide. So sulfuric acid, sulfur reacts with oxygen to make, yes, the equation for this reaction is not correct. Nickel is used as a catalyst. No, this is not correct. Vanadium of 5 oxide is used. Catalyst speed up the reaction by lowering the activation. This is correct. Sulfuric acid is used in car batteries. This is correct. This increases the efficiency of the petrol. So it is for running the car batteries, but not increases the efficiency. The use of low sulfur petrol is beneficial because it minimizes the formation of, yes, this is correct. And sulfur dioxide is acidic because it is the oxide of non-metal. Yes, this is correct. D option must be correct. An atom of which element has the same electronic configuration as an atom of an ion of the strontium? This is ions of strontium is strontium has, this is strontium, and strontium is 38 atomic number, and 38 after losing 2 electrons it must be equal to this krypton. This is present in group 2, so loses 2 electrons. So after losing 2 electrons, its ion must be equal to krypton, which has 36. So B option must be correct, because krypton has strontium has 38 after losing 2 electrons, it is equal to 36, which has krypton proton number. So B must be correct. Metals have high melting points. What is the reason for this? The atoms are joined by strong covalent bonds in ionic lattice. This is incorrect. They have strong force of attraction between negative ions and delocalized electrons. Not negative ions, positive ions. This is also incorrect. They have strong forces of attraction between negative ions and positive ions. Not negative ions, positive ions, and delocalized electrons. Delocalized electrons. So this is incorrect. They have strong force of attraction between positive ions and delocalized electron. D is correct. What happens when a strip of silver is immersed in aqueous copper 2 sulfate? Silver is immersed, no reaction occurs. Silver is less reactive than copper, so cannot displace copper from its solution, so no reaction. No reaction. B is correct. 4 metals and hydrogen are arranged in the order of decreasing reactivity. Decreasing reactivity, yes. Hydrogen, potassium, aluminium, zinc, hydrogen and copper. Which statement about these elements is correct? Aluminium is formed when aluminium oxide is heated with hydrogen. No, aluminium is formed when aluminium oxide is electrolyzed. Copper displaces zinc. No, copper is less reactive than zinc, so it cannot displace, so it is also incorrect. Copper is formed when copper 2 oxide is heated with hydrogen. Copper is formed, yes, this is correct, because hydrogen is above than copper, so hydrogen can displace copper from copper oxide. CuO plus H2 to form Cu plus water, so this is correct. C option is correct. Aluminium is extracted from its ore using electrolysis. Which statement about the electrodes used is correct? The anode is made of graphite. This must be correct. Anode is made of steel. No. Anode. Cathode is made of bauxite. Cathode is made of. Anode is made of graphite. Gas X is present in dry air and may contribute to global warming. What is X? Carbon monoxide in air may contribute, does not contribute global warming. This is methane gas. Yes, methane gas is the greenhouse gas. Methane gas in air may contribute to global warming. Nitrogen dioxide cause acid rain, also causes acid rain, so it is also incorrect. 4 processes are used during the purification of water. Use of carbon, yes, use of carbon to remove taste and odor. Desalination, removal of dissolved salts. Desalination also can be used, is one of the purification method. Chlorination is used, filtration is used. Purposes of W, X, Y and Z are these. W is used for disinfectant. W is used for the purpose of WXY is used for disinfectant. Chlorination, chlorine is used for disinfectant. Chlorination, yes. Okay, removal of solid. X used for removal of solids. It is used in filtration. Y, removal of dissolved salt. Desalination, disinfectant. Chlorine, chlorination. Removal of solids, filtration. Removal of dissolved salt, desalination. Removal of taste and odors, carbon. So use of carbon, C and Z, use of carbon, not correct. And desalination is Y. and chlorination is disinfectant chlorination, that is W, and filtration is the removal of solids, filtration, that is X. So B option is correct. Propane undergoes substitution reaction when mixed with chlorine gas in the presence of ultraviolet light. Which compounds could be formed when propane and chlorine are mixed in the presence of ultraviolet? Propane undergoes substitution reaction. Propane, this is 1 2 3 carbon, 1 and 2 carbon, not correct. 1 2 3. CH3, this is not correct because CH2Cl should be there. CH3 CH1 2 3 4, this is also not correct. So A must be correct option. CH3 CCl2, CH3 carbon, CCl2, and in this 2 hydrogen are replaced, substituted by 2 chlorine atom. So this must be correct. CH3 CH2 CH3 plus 2 mole of chlorine to form CH3 CCl2 CH3 plus 2HCl. So A option must be correct. The hydrocarbon CH3CH2 will undergo a number of chemical reactions. In which reaction will the carbon to carbon single bond be broken? Combustion with oxygen. Combustion with oxygen. CH3CH2 will undergo a number of chemical reactions because this is alkene. CH3CH double bond CH2. Number of initial reaction. In which reaction will the carbon to carbon single bond be broken? Combustion of combustion with oxygen, carbon to carbon, yes, combustion with oxygen. In which reaction will the carbon to carbon single bond? No, only combustion of hydrogen. Hydrogenation, carbon to carbon double bond is broken. Polymerization, carbon to carbon double bond is broken. Same over here, reaction with steam also, this bond is broken. So A option is correct. Question number 36. Hydrocarbon compounds can form rings of carbon atom as well as chains. The structures of 2 hydrocarbon rings are shown. The structure of 2 hydrocarbon rings are formed. CH2. Which P and Q is unsaturated and which reacts with aqueous bromine? Q is unsaturated, this is saturated, this is unsaturated. So Q is unsaturated and reacts with aqueous bromine, that is Q. B option is correct. A sample of aqueous glucose is fermented with yeast at 37 degrees centigrade. In the absence of air, the main organic product X is purified by fractional distillation. X is then oxidized by heating under flux with acidified potassium manganate to give final product. Glucose C6H12O6 form ethanol, C2H5OH plus CO2. And X is then X is purified. This is purified through filtration, through bifractional distillation. C2H5OH, which is oxidized to form CH3COOH in the presence of KMNO4 acidified. So ethanoic, what is the identity of Y? A is correct option. The diagram shows the structure of compound called ethanoic anhydride. Ethanoic anhydride. 1 mole of ethanoic anhydride reacts with water to form 2 mole of carboxylic acid only. This carboxylic acid react with ethanol to form the ester. How many moles of water react with 1 mole of ethanoic anhydride, and what is the structure of the ester? 1 mole of ethanoic react with 2 moles of form 2 moles of with water to forms 2 moles of how many moles of water react with 1 mole of ethanoic acid? 1 mole of water and to form an ester. One mole of number of moles of water and ethyl ethanoate is formed. H2O means plus H2O to form ethyl ethanoate. The B option is correct. Mole of carboxylic acid only. This carboxylic acid react with ethanol to form ethyl ethanoate. So this must be correct. This carboxylic acid react with ethanol to form an ester. C2H5 OH to form 2 moles and 1 this ethanoic acid, carboxylic acid, this is CH3CO C2H5 plus water. So this is correct option. B must be correct. Question number 39. Burning polymers can cause atmospheric pollution. Which polymer on burning could produce nitrogen oxides? So it must be nylon, because in nylon the mild linkage is present, NH and C double bond O. So nylon must be correct, not polythene, not starch, not terylene, because no nitrogen in this. This is C2H4 and starch is also not, and terylene C double bond O and O. So this must be nylon. The diagram shows the repeat unit of polymer. Which row correctly identifies the monomer and type of polymerization? Type is addition and monomer would be, this is C2H5, can be written like this. So this is C2H5H and addition polymerization. This is C2H5 is correct, but condensation is incorrect. CHCH3 is not correct. Addition is correct, and CHCH3 also not correct. So A must be correct. This is all about 40 MCQs. If you like this video, please share and subscribe this channel and hit on bell icon for further notification.